Upanishadambho bruhi tyuktata Upanishad Brahmi vavata Upanishadam abhrumeti. Upanishadambho bruhi tyuktata Upanishad Brahmi vavata Upanishadam abhrumeti. Look at the statement. Sir, teach the Upanishad. And the Guru says the Upanishad has been imparted to you. Verily, we have imparted the Upanishad of Brahman to you. Upanishadambho bruhi. Bruhi means please tell us, teach the Upanishad. The student, the Shishya is asking the Guru, can you please teach the Upanishad? And the Guru says, Uktaha. Uktaha means it's been told, man. What are you? I've already told the entire story and say, please tell me the story. I've given out the knowledge to you and you tell me, please give me the knowledge. What's going on? Where are you, my dear fella? That's the kind of. So it's a very beautiful mantra. There's a very subtle hidden message in the way the Guru and the Shishya communicate in this mantra. It's a very beautiful mantra. Whether once we know what it is, you actually smile, you actually laugh and say, "Oh wow, what a beautiful relationship! What is the attitude?" Now, what you learn first is when the student says, when the Shishya says, "Teach me the Upanishad," the Guru says, "The Upanishad has been imparted. Verily, we have imparted the knowledge, the Upanishad of Brahman to you." So there is no impatience. You see the composure. The teacher is not shouting and screaming at the student. He said, "I've already, it's been said. The truth has been declared to you." So there's no sign of disappointment. There's no sign of annoyance from the sign of the teacher. Having said the truth, having taught the Upanishad, the Guru has gone to explain the inexplicable reality, isn't it? Something which can't be captured in words. Rajima, the Guru has explained, isn't it? What did the Guru has done so far?
He has imparted the knowledge. Now the sadhana of the student should start.
That is there. We're not talking of sadhana. What are we talking here?
The Guru has done his bit.
What did we say? The Guru having taught the Upanishad.
Yeah.
When the student asks the teacher, please teach the Upanishad, the Guru said, it has already been imparted to you. To which we are saying, there is no anxiety, he's not annoyed by the student. So what do we understand from that? What we understand is 2 points. One, the Guru has no kartrutva bhavana. There is no doership of the Guru here. There is no aham bhava that I have taught to you. There is no egoistic notion of the Guru in the teachings. The second point is the Guru has no karma phala hetu. The Guru also has no desire for fruit from his sermon. The Guru is not expecting that the student should understand, receive, take his advice and do the sadhana and transform himself. There is no desire of the fruit, karma phala. There is no desire in the doing, nor is there a desire of fruit expecting from the outcome of his action. So what has the Guru shown? Arunama, What is the Guru? What quality do we talk? All of this, what quality does it actually portray rather?
I think, Hariom Guruji.
Hari Om. Now, before you answer the question, imagine yourself as a mother. You have done so much to educate, bring up your children, your grandchildren. You have done so much. Okay, I'm just trying to make it easier for you to think along. So when you have done so much for them, it is reasonable that at least they follow what you have done to them, isn't it? Let's say it is not followed. Just an example. Let's say your child or grandchild doesn't follow what you have done to them, your advice given to them. What is the quality needed by you not to be affected?
I think the quality needed in such a situation is, in life, we have to do our obligations. And once our obligations are done, we take a step back. We remain detached to the outcome.
You are perfectly detached to the outcome. You are a sakshi, your objective, isn't it? You have done your dharma. The student approached, the shishya approached the Guru taught, the student asks, teach the question, teach the Upanishad, the question he asks, teach me the Upanishad, sir. Now, what the question suggests also is, I'm getting to it, but the stance of the Guru is, having given out, there is no anxiety. He remains detached. Now, why is it? Because there is no, these 2 points. The Guru has no arrogance of doership, that I have done so much to you, nor is there interest in the karma phala. There is no interest in the fruits of his sermon. These 2 points we fail, isn't it, in our actions? We do out of a selfish attachment, out of a desire, out of an ego, and we expect the fruits of our labor. And this is where we are not as detached as we should be, isn't it, man?
It's Guruji. That's a challenge always. We know the theory, but to practice it is not always easy, Guruji.
Certainly not easy. Certainly not easy. But at least we need to relate it. So it's not just talking from the text perspective, but if we relate it in our own lives, we're able to see a direct parallel how we should do what we are expected to do, and yet remain unconcerned to the fruits of action. Be detached, isn't it? The same thing, doesn't it happen in the Gita as well? What are the last few words in the Bhagavad Gita? Throughout the Gita, in fact, Krishna says here and there, but in the last few verses, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, he says, Yatha ichchasi, tatha kuru. You know what does it mean? Yatha ichchasi means, you're right, Ma, go ahead, please.
Do what you have to do, is it?
You do what you think is right, Arjuna. Because Arjuna sought, what was Arjuna's predicament in the beginning of the Gita? What was Arjuna's predicament?
He was confused as to whether he should fight the war or not.
To fight the war or not. And then Lord gave the long sermon, and thereafter he didn't tell, fight. He said, you decide now, you to fight or to retrieve. Choice is yours. I have no say in the matter. So he is completely detached to the fruits of his sermon. He just did what has to be done. So if we remain detached, you will remain. What would happen if you're detached? You will remain peaceful, you will remain calm.
Guruji, can I add on?
Please.
No, actually, although I said that
you want to add something to the text, we can edit it.
No, I want to add based on my experiences. Like,
Please.
although I realize that it is very difficult to be objective in life, but having gone through this knowledge so many years with you, it has changed my life a lot, I must say, In fact, today morning also, I was having a conversation with my husband, and I was telling about my grandchildren and the difficulties I had. And then we both of us was telling, we just have to be objective. We just have to do our part and then take a step back. So it has, to a great extent, drummed in that knowledge into us. So I feel that, although not all the time, we are able to take when things don't come the way we want, we are able to accept it to a great extent these days, better than before, I would say that. And that is thanks to this knowledge and thanks to what you have done to our lives and imparting the knowledge.
No, it's your keenness, your sadhana, your consistency is that which has really transformed, and thanks to the knowledge and the gurus for their wisdom, So yet it's the awareness that matters, and if we are conscious of it, it helps us to instill that much required spirit of being detached, isn't it?
Very true, Guruji.
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you, Guruji.
Appreciate. Thank you, ma. Thank you. Yes, Shivaji, just a minute, sir. Amitama wanted to say something. I will come to you. Yes, Amitama.
Yeah, thank you, sir. The mantra 7, which talks about the concept of the guru, not having this doership mentality and, being above karma, the outcome of karma and stuff, sounds like a nice linkage with what we spoke about in the previous mantra on love, isn't it? Can I make that linkage about that no otherness and that oneness and identifying with Tatwanam? And so therefore the compassion, the forbearance, the understanding that a student may continue to ask as many times, but I'm not going to lose patience or, be disappointed, because really I have no expectation as a teacher.
Don't try that on me.
No, I mean, I'm just trying to see if there can be a linkage from 6 and 7. Mantra 6 and 7.
You know my capacity and limit. So I never know when it's going to go beyond my threshold. So
all
please
right,
don't.
sir.
No. I see that the previous mantra is being prescribed as a sadhana. So it's not necessarily to be perceived that the guru's patience is being exhibited here, is what we construe from the objective remark he gives. It is, we are trying to admire the state the guru is established in of the text, who is invariably, obviously has to be realized so, because otherwise he can't speak with this assurance, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, but in terms of abhyasa or the practice you want to do it, yes, you can draw a connect. You can draw a connect, but there are two different concepts. One is to be detached. You are detached because you are not arrogant. You're not arrogating the action nor interested in the fruits of action. That's one thing. Other is to have an identification of the other person. There are two different elements. You can draw a connect if you wish to, but there are two different concepts and elements. But the text, as I said, 6th mantra is a state of or an advice being given from the guru to us to attune to the Tadvanam and meditate on it. The verse 7 is the Shishya seeking an advice or an appeal to the guru because the student doesn't know, is the text actually finished or not? Because there's no, now you and I have a text to follow, but those days there was no text, isn't it? There's no scripture, no reference. Have you finished teaching, sir? Is there anything more to say? Is this all? Have you got to say? That kind of an attitude of a student is to be understood here. Okay, ma?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, Shivaji.
Hariom, you are talking about Abhyasa. I thought I'll just share just a couple of lines. If you're persistent, you will get it. If you are consistent, you will keep it. If you have both, with the divine intervention, you will get it. That is called success.
Get what, sir?
If you are at it, if you are persistent, you will get it. Whatever you want, get it. That is what is called success. If you
I
have,
got it. No,
Yeah.
I got it. But my question is, get what?
get what you aspire to.
Sir, in this
You need to
classroom,
be
we are
Abhyasa.
only,
See, when you're
we are
talking about
only,
consistency, Aranama,
Shivaji, in this classroom, what is it that we are all aspiring?
that's it.
Tadvanam da. Unnume, nothing other than Tadvanam. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
On that, I had these thoughts. I thought, let me just share it. It is not just enough if you get inspired. You need to be consistent. When you said Arunama's consistency,
Hmm.
that is what is a key, consistency. I thought I'll just share it. I had these lines. I just wrote it down. I thought I'll just share it.
No, no, absolutely. I know your poetic self is gushing forth. So we really admire your words of inspiration. No, no, you're very true. Very true. Absolutely right, sir. I was only trying to say that consistency and persistency must be towards the highest. Isn't it? Perfect. Thank you, Ji. Thank you. So Lakshmi Ma, anything to ask?
No, Guruji. It was just to add on earlier,
Mhm.
just about love. I wanted to add on earlier, but I was raising my hand. I couldn't find the button. Sorry. I read something about love. I thought was in this context, it was so relevant. Love is essentially your quality, your possession. If we wait for others to reciprocate, only when then we think love can happen, then we are essentially losing what we own. We are our belonging, we are giving up because we are expecting it to be reciprocated, and then only we think love can happen. So I thought the earlier context, the earlier mantra, this was very relevant because we always wait for the Rakshasas or somebody, whoever, who don't agree with us to reciprocate, and then we think then only we can love everyone as one. But then love is yours to be given, not only. So if you have that mindset, you are essentially losing what is your possession. I read that somewhere and I thought it was so relevant.
Yes, interesting, interesting. Yes, it's important to be a giver, isn't it? So it's your property. Keep it right. Yeah. So just to conclude a few points on why or what's the implication of the question which the Shishya asks in the context, teach the Upanishad. Perhaps the student is just merely asking the Guru's confirmation, as I've said, is the sermon complete, sir? Because there were no written books those days, as an obvious, simple clarification. Second is the student has the anxiety to learn more. The knowledge is something which came his way, is so beautiful. The student has the anxiety to learn more. Point two. Perhaps the student is asking for some practical tips from the Guru. And that seems to be a more likely reason, because the next mantra, he actually gives a practical tip. Or perhaps give us some special techniques for effective sadhana. It could be the possible reasons. Now, how, not rather how, Padmini, you know, actually, technically speaking, the text is already concluded in this mantra.
Yeah, it shows us the destination. Then the rest of it, like how to reach there, is in our hands. So the student, having heard from the Guru what ultimately is your goal, he has made the goal clear to the student.
Very much.
But-
Throughout, has it not? Throughout the text, he has done that. You know,
Yeah.
there's a path and the goal being given. But
Huh.
what I'm saying is, there is a unique style of the Upanishads. How do we know, or when do we know that the Upanishad is concluded, the sermon is finished? When a particular line is repeated twice, that means it's the conclusion of the text.
Okay.
That's the Upanishadic tradition. That's how the student would know that the Guru has finished his sermon. So even in answer to what the Shishya asks, Upanishadambho, oh sir, Bruhi, tell me, teach me the Upanishad. Now, what did the Guru say? What does the Guru
I have
say?
told you.
He says that twice.
Uktva. I have already
Uktva.
told you.
I have already told you. I've already told you that truth has been imparted, has been told. The Upanishad has been imparted to you. Verily, we have imparted. So he says the word imparted twice. So that technically concludes the Upanishad. But since he understands that the student wants more, the student, the Guru gives 2 more mantras. So in the next mantra, he actually, out of his compassion to the student, to satisfy the yearning desire of the student to learn, he gives him some practical tips. So the 8th mantra, having described the truth, he gives the abhyasa, as you rightly said. No? What is the abhyasa which is required for the student, for the shishya? So just a point for us to note. Now, let's chant the 8th mantra, and I leave it at that, and we'll come back and take up the 8th mantra. Okay, but we'll chant it once, please, or twice. Let's chant. Tasyai tapodamah karmeti pratishtha veda sarvangani satyamayatanam. Tasyai tapodamah karmeti pratishtha veda sarvangani satyamayatanam. Mark, have 9 also, please. Now you will notice in the 9th mantra, what I meant is the word repeated twice. Now look at the last word. When I chant, you see the last word is repeated twice. Yo vayetam Veda pahatya patmanamanante swarge loke jeye pratitishthati pratitishthati. So the last word, he repeats it twice. Even though he applies the same principle in the 7th mantra, he said that I have taught it, it ends there. But since the student is so keen to learn, he gives out a little more knowledge. And then in the 9th mantra, when he concludes it, he says again the same word twice, which says, which means the text is concluded. Now, above all, what it establishes is knowledge is always taken and never given. Knowledge is always taken. The student seeks the knowledge and the Guru gives. That principle is established. So therefore, whatever knowledge you have, don't go about dishing it to those who are not worthy of it. When they need it, you give it. By that you uphold the sanctity, you uphold the very knowledge itself. All right, we will come back to the 8th mantra next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Bhyo Namah. Hari Om.